Terry McLaurin, okay, and the Washington Commanders is a fascinating situation. Terry McLaurin out of the Ohio State obviously became a young stud for the Commanders. In a team that was entrenched in turmoil, we are talking about it currently, there's a whole House Oversight Committee taking place and an investigation taking place because that building was on fire. New head coach came in. He got cancer, had to battle through that through the entire season. A team with no fucking name through most of the season, and a rookie who at the end of a game was asked, hey, does anybody want to speak? And Terry said, I'll fucking talk. And I remember watching that video saying, if I'm in there and this guy wants to talk, it'd be hard not to go, hey, shut the fuck up. You have no idea. Why are you even speaking? He took a leadership role, and then he became an absolute superstar, not only for that team on the field, but off the field. Scary Terry became a brand in of himself overnight, still on a rookie deal. Now he's willing to take the $95,600 and some fine and miss mandatory minicamp to let the world know that he's not happy with the way this is whole thing's going. This team stinks. If it wasn't for me, this team would be much worse. Everybody else seems to be getting paid who has less production than I do, and look at who I had at quarterback. You're bringing in Carson Wentz, paying this guy $30 million. Who's going to throw it to? You just want me to go out here for no money at all in my rookie contract with the way business is going and play for nothing? Then he likes a tweet from Reggie Wayne, a man who he grew up idolizing because he grew up here in Indianapolis. Indianapolis Colts obviously need a wide receiver. Then just last night, you know what I noticed?
What's that?
Scary Terry followed me on Twitter.
Whoa!
Scary Terry follows me on Twitter. What's that all about? Is that just because he enjoys our show? Probably not. Nobody does that.
No way.
Did he do that because I had been talking about him coming back to Indianapolis alongside Darius Butler and trying to put it into the universe to make it happen? Because Matty Ice and Scary Terry with Jonathan Taylor and that offensive line in the AFC South, how you doing? Keep it moving. Coach to the fucking Super Bowl. Darius Leonard gets his back fixed, which helps the rest of his body. This team's better than ever. Is that why Terry followed me? I don't know. You tell me. Then Ron Rivera came out and said this at minicamp, basically, and he was talking completely about what they are thinking with Terry McLaurin, what they're not thinking with Terry McLaurin. Are they going to negotiate? He's a guy that they can't let go. We don't have the video.
No.
Where'd I watch the video at?
I'll get it.
Was that
This
on-
is good right here.
He's pulling it up.
Washington head coach Ron Rivera says team has been actively negotiating contract extension with Terry McLaurin, and the dialogue has never been contentious. He wrote out any potential trading player, an indicated deal could be reached soon. That's what Ed Werder reported out of him thing. But what he actually said, he went into the depth and the emotion of it, I think is worthy of saying, because I don't think there's any fucking chance we get Terry McLaurin. Go ahead, Ron.
When it comes to keeping everybody, with Terry, someone who's been so exemplary in a lot of ways, do you feel like you want to set the standard and say, hey, we're going to take care of this guy so the future players can kind of see how that all shapes?
Right, and I think that's important is that when a player like this does make the impact he's made, and not just on the football team, but around the community and everything, you have to be able to take care of that guy so everybody understands that this is the type of player we want. This is how guys that do it this way. And so that's why, and I've said this, we're not trading Terry. We're everything we're doing is we're trying to get this done. And like I said, just to tell you guys, we've been talking with these guys for over probably the last 7-8 days. And we intend to do this because we believe in who Terry is for us and what he can bring to the table.
Ron Rivera, pretty clear as day there, saying they're not trading Terry. And that's a real buzzkill, isn't it, AJ Hawk?
Yeah, I had a feeling that they would not let him go. Obviously, Terry has all the leverage here too, but really. I don't know if I told you this on the show or not. I think I have at some point, but I was with James Laurinaitis and with SiriusXM, I don't know how many years ago, when Terry McLaurin was at Ohio State. He was younger, and he was playing mainly special teams, a little bit as a receiver, and he was one of the guys we interviewed. They gave us 5 dudes. And they gave us guys that obviously would well-spoken, send the message the team wants, I think. And we talked to Terry, me and James, and we got done. I was like, I hope this dude becomes an absolute superstar. How he was, how he spoke, how well thought out he was, and how Mitchell, he was such a team dude. I was such a fan. I knew barely anything about him going into that. And then it's cool to see all of this. And I remember thinking of that. I'm like, oh, there's no way. Why would you ever get rid of this dude?
It'd be great to have him on the Colts, it sounds like, literally from day one. And so let's continue to make these calls, Jim Irsay and Chris Ballard. But I think a point that he made in there that should be talked about is the example it shows everybody else. Terry came in the middle of a fire in Washington, played hard, led the team, transition, hell's happening. Terry was really the only stable guy on and off the field. Not the only, there's others, but he became the national conversation of being the guy for their team, very young in doing so, quick turnover from college to the NFL having success. If you let that guy go and not get paid there, everybody else in that building is like, okay, so if I'm Terry McLaurin, who is a Walter Payton probably winner. I'm not the way he talked about it there, but anyways, great in the community, beloved by the fans, incredible on the field immediately, is the hardest worker we got, and he's not going to get paid here. That's a tone for everybody. Free agents as well. Free agents, that's a tone for the entire business, and I like the fact that Ron Rivera is thinking about that. It sucks for the Colts because it sounds like we're not going to get him, but that is a very real thing that Ron, former player, obviously recognizes.
I think it's the same way to where you set a bad example if you let somebody get away with walking in late. Like if one of your stars walks into your team meeting 30 seconds late and no one says anything and the head coach doesn't kill him, doesn't close the door, like that right there, people remember for the rest of their career. And I think the same thing, like if you're a player, let's say you want a new contract, but you've had a few like run-ins, not even with the law, like you've had a little just off the field stuff. Like people have things that pop up or just little issues with coaches. Those guys got to be like, hey man, they didn't even pay Terry, and Terry is perfect. Everything this dude does, he seems to do the right way, and they didn't even pay him, so you don't have a chance. Why are you even trying? Like, I think that's the message that sometimes gets sent to the rest of the team.
Maybe Terry just wants to come home.
Yeah,
maybe.
sure.
Homesick.
Like Devontae.
Oh, to Ohio? The Bengals or Browns?
No, Indiana.
No,
From Indianapolis.
I know where he's from. I'm talking about where he played most recently.
Back home again in Indiana.
They're going to pay him $1 billion.
Who?
Terry, they're going to have to.
You
I don't
never
think he
know.
wants that money. I think he just wants to come back home again in Indiana.
Should I know that?
No, I didn't know that song existed until the Indy 500. They sing it every single year, and I think it's the only time it's ever heard by anybody's ears. But it is right here again in Indiana, and I hope Terry comes, but it sounds like that is very unlikely. You said Terry has all the leverage. I disagree.
I mean, I guess they don't have to pay him this year. But
And
if
they
he's
don't have
not
to
on the
trade
team, what does it look like?
Well, and they don't have to trade him either.
No, they don't have to. I mean, they could force his hand, absolutely. But I feel like because he is so good, because he is so far and away a leader on the team and the number one dude as receiver, like, hey, Carson Wentz, I would imagine is pushing to make sure he gets signed quick.